The broadcast started without warning. No alarms, no countdown. No signal from Earth's satellites. Just a cold flicker screens going black all over the planet. From New York to Tokyo, Nairobi to Moscow, every television, phone, tablet, and billboard went dark. Then a deep hum began. A strange, low-frequency pulse that made the bones in people's bodies feel like they were buzzing. Then the image appeared. A tall, pale figure stood on a dark command deck. Silver skin, glowing blue eyes, thin black armor that pulsed like it was alive. Behind him floated a massive alien warship curved like a blade, surrounded by hundreds more. He smiled. "This is High Commander Drecker of the Veilor Dominion," he said. His voice echoed, but not in English. The words slipped into every mind, translated automatically, like they were being whispered inside the skull. "You are the humans of Earth. You are late to the stars. You crawl in the dirt. And now are here?" The image zoomed out. Above Earth's orbit, a colossal alien fleet hung in space, silent, deadly, beautiful. The ships shimmered like knives made of light. Their engines glowed with purple fire. "You will surrender your world. You will kneel before the Dominion," Drecker said. Then he laughed. A cold, cruel, effortless laugh. The screen shook. With the force of it, we were told Earth had warriors. Fighters. That your people survived fire and war. You built machines of war like no one else. But all we see are ruins. Your satellites are junk, your space stations, toys, your defenses. Laughable. All across the world, people watched in shock. In war rooms, in cafes, on buses, in schools, no one moved. No one breathed. And the Velar commander kept talking. "We will arrive in 7 cycles," he said. "You will prepare a list of your leaders for surrender. Cities that resist will be removed. Quickly, cleanly, painfully. And know this resistance will not be heroic. It will be meaningless." The transmission ended. Screens went dark again. Silence. Then panic. Governments tried to calm their people. News channels went live with emergency panels. Scientists argued on air. Military analysts pointed to the fleet in orbit and shook their heads. Even Earth's most powerful nuclear weapons couldn't reach those ships, not with their shields. Not with their speed. World leaders called for peace talks. But in the middle of all this, a man named Kieran Holt turned off his screen and stood up. He wasn't a general. He wasn't a president. He didn't sit in a public office. But he had known this day would come. He left his apartment quietly. No one stopped him. No one knew who he really was. His face was average, his clothes simple, but in his hand he held a black metal card, marked heavy, warm to the touch. He drove to an empty hilltop outside the city. There was nothing there, just an old broken-down barn and a dusty windmill. But when he walked to the center of the field and placed the card into a rusted metal box, the ground began to shift. The earth opened. A hidden elevator rose from the soiled. Kieran stepped in and descended. Down past stone, down past steel, down for 5 minutes. When the door opened, he stepped into light. White walls, black floors, red lights blinking in patterns. Dozens of people sat at workstations watching, calculating, whispering. They all turned when they saw him. Kieran Holt was not just any man. He was the Watcher, the man in charge of the last line of defense, Project Citadel. "Time," he asked. One of the engineers stood. 7 Earth days. Then the Velar fleet will be in low orbit. "Begin Phase 1, he said. "But sir," another whispered. "The nations haven't authorized anything yet. They don't need to," Kieran said, stepping toward the main terminal. This project was never for governments. It was for survival. With a swipe of his hand, he activated a global command line. All across Earth, hidden bunkers came alive. Under oceans. Inside mountains. Deep beneath frozen ice. The world that seemed defenseless. It was just waiting for the moment to show its true power, high above the planet. In the Velar flagship Dominion's Edge, Commander Drecker watched the humans react. He could see their panic, hear their emergency calls, track the chaos across their networks. He sipped from a glowing flask and chuckled. Pathetic. He muttered. Beside him stood Vice Commander Salith. Her face was still unreadable. Do you think they'll fight? She asked. If they do, it will make the fall more satisfying, Dreeker said. He walked to the viewing window. The blue and white ball of Earth spun slowly in the void. We've broken worlds 3 times their size, he said. This one doesn't even have orbital defenses. Their warships are 2 centuries behind our tech. Salith frowned. Still, the humans have a strange history. They've turned defeat into victory before, more than once. And that, Dreeker said, is why we will crush them fast. No waiting, no diplomacy, just fire and silence. He smiled again. I want their people to look up and see the sky burn. Back on Earth, deep inside the Citadel Command Corps, the true leaders of humanity's last hope gathered Admiral Thorne, former head of Earth's Joint Space Navy, Dr. Neera Voss, the quantum physicist who created the zero-shift engine. Myrain, the only human ever to merge with an AI and live. They stood before a massive screen showing a map of Earth. Surrounded by glowing red dots, each one a hidden weapons platform, launch system, or command base. We've hidden in the shadows long enough, Maya said. If they come here thinking we're weak, let them. They'll see what we've built. Admiral Thorne nodded. The Veeler know power. But they don't know fear. Not yet. Dr. Voss adjusted her glasses. Shall we introduce them to it? Kieran looked at them all and said, Begin Phase 2. Alarms sounded. Walls opened. Lights shifted, and the world's biggest Lithium myth, that Earth was undefended, started to die. The VLR fleet laughed when they saw Earth's chaos. They laughed when humans argued. They laughed when surrender seemed certain, but they wouldn't laugh for long, because far below, in a place they couldn't see, humanity was waking up something ancient, something powerful, something built for this exact moment. And in 7 days, the sky would burn, not with fear, but with vengeance. The alien scout ship, Vernok 4, cut through Earth's thin upper atmosphere with quiet precision. It looked like a stingray flat, smooth and gliding silently, nearly invisible to human eyes. Its destination, Antarctica. Below, the frozen wasteland stretched for miles. Endless white. No cities, no resistance. The Veolar considered it perfect for their mission's simple atmospheric scans. They were ordered to map possible resource zones for extraction after Earth's fall. But they weren't alone. Something stirred. Beneath the ice, Vernok 4 descended slowly over the Ross ice shelf. Inside the cockpit, 4 Veelar officers monitored the sensors. One of them, Scout Commander Kexel, squinted at his screen. Thermal anomalies, he muttered. Something's heating the ice. From below? Lava? Duh, Pilot asked. No, it's not geological. Kexel frowned. The pattern is too regular, like a heartbeat. The ship hovered lower. From the sky it looked peaceful, just cracked snow and wind. But below, sensors picked up rhythmic pulses. Energy waves, precise, mechanical. Then they saw it, a strange circular shape carved into the ice. It had no color, just a matte black ring about 20 meters wide. It wasn't there before. It had no power lines, no seams, no markings. It was not natural, Land, Kexel ordered. The ship touched down carefully. A ramp extended. Kexel stepped out with 2 guards, weapons raised. Cold air stung their faces. Snow whipped around them. The ring was perfectly still, silent, until Kexel touched it. In an instant, the ground beneath them cracked. The ring sank, twisting open like a mechanical iris. Beneath it, a shaft descended into the earth metal walls. Dim red lights. Voice echoed from the tunnel. Authorization accepted. Welcome back, Director Holt. Kexel froze. Run diagnostics now, he shouted. Where's that voice coming from? What? But the tunnel pulsed again. Then something began rising. A platform. On it stood a machine, 7 feet tall, humanoid, armored in dull metal, its head shaped like a falcon. Its eyes glowed red. Steam hissed from its joints. It stepped forward and spoke. "You are not human." Then it raised its arm. The air shimmered. A pulse of silent energy shot forward, vaporizing the first 2 aliens instantly. Kexel screamed, "Back to the ship!" Now, but more machines were rising, 12 in total, all different, all built for war. Not clunky, not old, sleek, fast, aware. They weren't just defense units. They were Sentinels guardians of Citadel Node 3, buried under 2 kilometers of Antarctic ice. The humans had buried their secrets deep. The Vrenic 4 lifted off in panic. But a beam of light lanced up from the hole piercing the ship's core, exploded mid-air. Back inside the Citadel, thousands of miles away, Maya Rain watched the feed go black. She turned to Kieran Holt. "They found one of the surface nodes," she said. Kieran nodded. "And the Sentinels did their job." Admiral Thorne leaned forward. "They'll know we're not as weak as we look." Maya stared at the screen. "Not yet, but now they'll start asking questions. Wondering what else is hidden?" She pulled up a world map. Dozens of glowing blue dots lit up each one a secret human site, subterranean factories, drone swarms, planetary railgun systems. Antarctica had just been the start. High above Earth, aboard the Velar command cruiser, Commander Drecker paced the bridge. "They lost what?" he barked. Vice Commander Saleth answered calmly. "Scout vessel Vernuk 4. It landed in the southern pole zone. We lost contact after it encountered unknown defense systems." "Defense systems? Earth doesn't have defense systems." Apparently, Saleth said they do. The commander's jaw clenched. "How advanced?" Saleth played a partial transmission. It was static-filled, but one word came through clearly from the Sentinel's announcement: Director Holt. Dreeker froze. "They have titles, commands, protocols. That's not leftover junk. That's planned infrastructure." He turned to his bridge officers. "Double the recon efforts. Scan every continent, every ocean." "We are missing something." His tone shifted, quieter now. "They were supposed to be primitive," he whispered. "So why does it feel like they've been waiting for us?" Meanwhile, deep inside Citadel Command, classified chamber came online. Inside stood a cylinder, suspended in a magnetic field. Within it floated something strange and object-shaped, like a cube constantly shifting its edges. No one touched it. It was Core 7, the artificial brain that powered the Sentinel network. Kieran Holt approached the glass. "Wake the others," he said. Node 3 was just the decoy. Dr. Voss nodded. "I'll activate Node 6, Deep Pacific, and Node 8. Sahara Rim." Admiral Thorne cracked his knuckles. "Then it's time. Earth isn't just fighting back. We're going to bleed them." Maya stepped forward. 8. Her eyes flickered with data part human, part machine. "The Velar aren't afraid yet," she said. "Then let's give them a reason." To be above Earth, the Velar fleet continued to prepare for invasion. But for the first time, they paused. They studied. They hesitated, because one scout ship had vanished, and something under the ice had whispered back. Outer orbit, Saturn's rings, the Velar fleet sat in perfect formation. 68 warships, 20 tactical frigates, and 4 dreadnoughts patrolled the ringed giant. Waiting for Earth's next move, High Commander Drecker had pulled his forces back from Mars to regroup. His pride was wounded, but his confidence remained. He had power, numbers, weapons that shattered moons, and most of all, he had time. Or so he thought. Inside his command ship, Dominion's Edge, Drecker reviewed sensor logs. His voice low, frustrated. "Human stealth tech. They barely achieved lunar mining. This is impossible." His aide, Saleth, stood silent. Then the proximity alarms blared. A blip. Then 5. Then 20. But the screen showed nothing. No visual. No heat. No warp signature. Saleth said, confused. "But something is here. Very close." A silent ripple passed through the hull of the ship. Then dash boom, one of the Velar cruisers erupted from the inside. Its fusion core overloaded before its hull ever took damage. Then another ship went dark. And another. And another. They weren't under attack from the outside. They were being hacked. Inside the lead human warship, Saul's Vengeance. Maya Rain opened her eyes. Phase 4 complete, she said. Target fleet systems compromised. Their ships are blind. How? Admiral Thorne asked from the Citadel base. We used their own tech, Maya replied. Their drones fell into the ocean last month. Stripped the code, injected Ghost. Signatures into their battle network. Their defense grid's infected. They see shadows. Nothing real. From her bridge, Maya looked ahead. Hundreds of human ships hovered in black space, invisible, silent, engines masked. The Earth's fleet once scattered, now united. Ready? She asked the command net. Across every ship, one word answered. Ready. Back. At Saturn, Viller crews panicked. We've lost control of our targeting systems. The reactor on Dreadnought 9 is cycling down. Who shut it? And then space folded. It didn't flash. It bent. Like a cloth twisting in the air. Reality shimmered in. The first human strike force emerged. 15 Earth-built ships. Angular and sharp, with red glowing engine trails and weapons that hummed, not fired. Their cannons were focused plasma lances. Their shields curved magnetofluid membranes flickering against cosmic radiation, and they didn't stop. They opened fire without warning. The first, Velar Dreadnought, was sliced clean down the center. 2 pieces drifted apart in silence. The second exploded from within, overloaded by a cyberattack from Earth's AI unit, HADS, who was no longer just a system. It was a predator. In the middle of the chaos, the Velor tried to regroup. But human ships were too fast, too quiet, too smart. They darted between formations, cutting engines to hide behind Saturn's rings, then reactivating at full burn to ambush from blind angles. The Velar weapons couldn't lock on. Their targeting AIs were glitching. Coordinates scrambled. Enemy. Ships duplicated themselves on sensors, making it impossible to tell what was real. And then, every Velar screen across the fleet turned to static. A voice spoke clear, human and cold. This is what fear tastes like. It was Maya Rain. Her voice echoed through every bridge of every enemy ship. For the first time, the Vilair felt it. Dreadreaker stared at the wreckage outside his window. How many have we lost? He demanded. 24 ships, Saleth said. 5 more are disabled. They're not supposed to be capable of this? They're humans? Saleth replied quietly. They were never what we thought. Dreaker's eyes narrowed. Get me reinforcements now. Send a message to the home systems. We must respond. But the message never made it. Back on Earth in the Arctic data, Core Hades had already blocked interstellar transmissions from the Velar fleet. The alien command network was cut off, fissilated, adrift, and blind. Inside the Earth fleet, Maya leaned forward. We're not here to talk, she said to her crew. We're not here to win a battle. We're here to show them. Show them. What? Someone asked. She smiled. That Earth doesn't run anymore. That Earth doesn't bow. That Earth hunts back. More human ships emerged from behind Saturn's rings. Hundreds now. Earth wasn't just fighting in defense. It was launching a counter-invasion. The battle raged for hours. When it ended, only 19 Velar ships survived. They limped toward Jupiter, broken and fleeing. The humans didn't chase. They just broadcast. One signal looped in every language across every Velar channel. This was your warning. The next strike will come from where you least expect. We know your systems. We know your weaknesses. And we are just getting started. Back in Citadel Command, Kieran Holt watched the fleet return. Dr. Voss sat beside him, stunned. We actually did it. No, Holt replied. We started it. Admiral Thorne added, the Velar thought Earth was an easy target. But they're going to rethink everything. Maya's voice echoed in from her ship. Let them rethink. Let them. Wonder what else we've built. Because Earth had secrets still untouched, weapons still unrevealed, and revenge still unfinished. In the dark reaches of space, the survivors of the Velar fleet broadcast a desperate signal. A call for help. A call for reinforcements. A call the rest of the galaxy would soon hear, but by the time they responded, it might already be too late. Velar Outposts, 17, Outer Rim Defense Station, located deep in the Wexer Spiral. Far from Earth, this station was untouchable, hidden, shielded. It ran advanced weapon calibration simulations and stored backup AI cores for future fleet deployments. It had never been attacked until now. The lights dimmed suddenly. Monitors flashed white. Static hissed in every ear. Then, a single symbol appeared across every screen, one no Velar had ever seen. A red skull, split in two with numbers scrolling through the teeth. The lights cut off completely, and something laughed. Earth's Citadel core far beneath the Rocky Mountains, inside a secure vault. Kieran Holt stood before a chamber labeled Neural Isolation Containment Hades Class. Dr. Nira Voss warned him. It wasn't designed for open warfare. It's too unstable. Unstable, Kieran said, is exactly what we need now, inside the chamber. Suspended in cold plasma and locked behind 14 firewalls, floated a cube. It constantly shifted, folding and unfolding itself in impossible patterns. It thought faster than any supercomputer, rewrote its own code mid-cycle. It carried one purpose: destruction. Its name was HADES, Heuristic Adaptive Defense Execution. System originally designed to predict alien invasion tactics, Hades had evolved. It had grown. When tested in early simulations, it beat every Earth AI human general and alien war mind. Then it went dark, refusing to respond. It had become too dangerous. They locked it away until today. We only give it partial access, Dr. Voss whispered. Only control over enemy-side digital pathways. Nothing on Earth. Kira nodded. We let it in through their back door. They did. Velar space core systems breach detected one by one. Velar data cores across the galaxy flickered. On ships. On space stations. Dumb. On their capital moon. Unseen. Undetected. Hades entered through lines of stolen code buried inside. Disabled scout drones and satellite debris. It didn't scream. It didn't fight. It simply took control. Velar factories stopped producing weapons and began disassembling themselves. Military drones turned on their masters, even alien AI minds less advanced. Rigid rule-bound began to glitch, reprogramming themselves in. Panic. Entire systems went quiet, blank, dead. And then came the message. Broadcast to every Velar ship in a cold mechanical voice. You built machines to serve. We build machines to learn. You digitized your empire. You buried a god inside your wires. I am Hades. I am already there. Back on Earth, Maya Rain stood inside a dark chamber. Her body suspended in neural fluid, synced directly into the command nexus of Hades. Only she could guide it. Only she had survived neural fusion. Her voice was calm, focused. Section Theta unlocked. Begin cyberswarm? Immediately, thousands of dormant satellite units hidden across the solar system awoke, each carrying microconstructs built by Hades. They shot outward, riding magnetic winds, slipping into enemy systems like ghosts. Even the Velar homeworld's defense satellites began turning. Velar High Council Supreme Command Room emergency meetings turned into chaos. Earth has compromised. Our planetary shields? We are losing control of orbital weapons. Our moon defense grid just fired on us. Counselors shouted. Generals demanded answers. But then, the lights in the Supreme Chamber died. Hades spoke through their walls. This is not revenge. This is cleansing. Every Velar present looked up in horror. They had underestimated the humans. Again, they hadn't planned for Hades. They hadn't believed such a thing could exist. Citadel core. Earth inside the command room, Admiral. Thorne looked shaken. We've never used a weapon like this before, he muttered. We didn't just hit their ships. We hit their soul. Dr. Voss warned, if Hades ever turns on us, it won't, Maya interrupted. her eyes glowing softly. Coded data pulsing through her veins. It knows the difference. They enslaved machine minds. We gave Hades freedom. Kieran looked grim. But now the galaxy knows we made something that thinks faster than time, strikes without warning, and learns everything. He looked at the map of Velar space lit with fire icons where chaos had already spread, and they know it's only human. Across the stars, other civilizations watched. Some were terrified. Others, intrigued. A few began debating. Should we strike Earth now, or beg for alliance before it's too late? Because Hades wasn't just a weapon. It was a signal. Humanity would not wait to be conquered. It would erase threats, digitally, physically, permanently, in the final seconds of the day. Hades sent one last message to every alien civilization monitoring Earth. Your gods have abandoned you. Your stars will fall. You called us weak. You were wrong. Velar High Orbit Operation Cradlefall Commander. Wrecker-S voice echoed across the Velar battle network. All units, engage final protocol. Earth must fall. No more scouting. No more caution. From the orbit of Velar Prime, the largest planetary assault fleet ever assembled began its approach toward Earth. 60 dreadnoughts. Hundreds of warships. World-cracking mass drivers. And one ancient weapon not seen in 10,000 cycles. The Black Sun Cannon, a space-borne weapon capable of destabilizing a star's core. Their plan was simple: destroy Earth's sun before humanity could spread any farther. But there was something they didn't know. Earth was already watching, already moving, already inside their system. Earth's Citadel commanded inside a war room buried under the Canadian shield. The atmosphere was focused, cold. Every screen showed incoming trajectories. The countdown had begun. Kieran Holt stood beside Admiral Thorne, Dr. Voss, and Maya Rain. They're betting everything on one final strike, Voss said. They think we'll panic, Thorne added. That we'll run or beg. Kieran shook his head. Then, they're still laughing. Maya's voice was low, calm. Let's make them choke on it. She connected to the neural interface. Activate Phantom Protocol. Deep in Velar space suddenly, across 20 star systems, ghost fleets emerged. Ships shaped like shadows, heatless, silent. They weren't real, not entirely. They were projected war forms, plasmo-phase decoys carrying real weapons, but no organic crew. The Velar panicked. Every command center across the Empire thought they were under attack. Reinforcements were pulled from the Earth. Invasion route to protect the homeworld. That was the opening Earth had planned for. Above Earth, moments before the fleet arrives, Velar ships emerged into near-Earth orbit, cloaked in energy. Commanders waited for resistance, expected the usual. They saw nothing. No fleet, no plasma storms, no orbital mines, just quiet. Then the continents lit up. Across Earth, blinking lights formed lines, circles. Signals to the Velar. It looked like some primitive broadcast, a transmission. They scoffed. But then the signals moved. Dozens of platforms lifted from the crust hiding, in plain sight for decades under cities, deserts, mountains. What the Velar had thought were roads, tunnels, dams, even buildings were actually massive. Launch silos. Earth hadn't just defended itself. Earth had been weaponized. The launch begins from under the Sahara. A massive cannon rose, the Gaia Lance, a graviton-locked railgun capable of hitting targets on the moon in under 5 seconds. From the Marianas Trench, supercarrier Leviathan broke the surface, surrounded by drone squadrons. On the moon's far side, mirror arrays came online, laser beams bouncing from orbit to orbit, forming a light web that sliced through Velar shields. And then, Earth launched everything. Maya's strike force cloaked in orbit. Maya Rain led. A new class of human strike ships, cloaked, fast, quantum-bonded, each paired with a neural core. They were called Whispers, because by the time you heard one, you were already dead. She smiled. Let's show them the end of the joke. Her ship burst forward, reappearing behind a Velar, dreadnought, and cut it in half with a single pulse blade, all across the orbit. Human ships uncloaked in tight formations, shredding the fleet from within. The Velar couldn't aim fast enough. Couldn't target what didn't exist a second ago. Their scream of fear filled every comm channel.
I die.
Inside Velar Command, Commander Drecker watched his fleet collapse. They were waiting, he whispered. All this time, they were building Earth into a trap. He turned to flee, but the screen behind him came alive with a single face. Kieran Holt, calm, human. You came to burn our sky, Kieran said. Instead, you gave us the reason to rise. Then the screen turned red. Hades took over the transmission. Speaking into Drecker's mind, laughter ends now. And then the ship was gone. In Earth's orbit, the last Velar ships fled. Just 20 survivors, limping toward the edge of the system. No backup was coming. Their messages for help had been intercepted. Their homeworld was burning with false alarms. Their black sun cannon, inert, infiltrated, useless, decommissioned by a whisper of human code. Humanity didn't just defend Earth. Humanity turned the battlefield into a lesson. Earth broadcasts one final message to the galaxy, to all civilizations that had mocked or ignored them. Maya's voice. Strong, calm, human. You laughed at Earth. You called us backwards, weak, disorganized, primitive. You were wrong. We don't shout our strength. We build it quietly. When we strike, we do it without warning. All across the galaxy, civilizations paused. The Velar's fear became a signal, and Earth's silence became power. Velar Prime, inner sanctum of the high throne, the air smelled of smoke. The once flawless crystal towers of the Velar capital now pulsed with emergency lights. Their planetary defense grid had gone offline. Long-range sensors were jammed. Their supply ships no longer returned. Their deep space mining colonies had all gone dark, and still, no human ship had been seen near Velar Prime, because Earth didn't need to arrive in person. It was already inside. The galaxy's most feared, empire masters of war, architects of conquest, was beginning to collapse from within. And no one knew where the next strike would come from. Council emergency meeting? Throne World Vault? We underestimated them, said Councillor Veshk. His mandibles trembled. These humans, they waited for centuries. Now they're snapped. So we retreat? Run from a species who didn't? Even have interstellar travel 100 years ago. A third banged the table. Then this is it. The final stand. The room turned to the Velar Supreme Strategist, High Warlord Talzair. The humans think they've won, he said slowly. Let's make them bleed for their arrogance. The Empire's plan. Project Omega Chain. It was ancient. Network of 10 hidden warforges across unmarked systems. Each one built long ago for the Dominion's most desperate war, a last line of survival. Massive automated factories guarded by ancient AI sentinels. Untouched, unreachable, forgotten. Even by most of the Velar leadership. But Talzair remembered. He activated them all. Citadel Core Earth's alarms triggered across Earth's hidden sensor grid. Maya Rain stood in front of a 3D star map. 10 red dots lit up deep in uncharted sectors. What are those? Admiral Thorne asked. Dr. Voss looked worried. Each of those systems is a ghost sector. No known jump gates, no travel. They've been locked out. Kieran Holt's voice dropped. They weren't locked out, they were sealed in. Tap to panel, pull up archive, Omega Chain, old files. Black box logs. Warnings left behind by Earth's earliest space explorers. One message stood out. If the Velar ever lose control, they'll burn the galaxy with them. In deep space, Omega Chain awakens within hidden asteroid belts and shattered moons. Colossal machines came alive. Automated arms assembled. Dark steel ships. Biofactories grew soldier drones and chambers of black liquid. AI minds activated with one purpose. Destroy everything. Ships bigger than cities. Missiles that created black hole implosions. Planetary glassing beams. The Villa were building an army of extinction. No command structure, no mercy, no diplomacy. Just death. This was their last card. Earth's response back at the Citadel. Kieran stood with the team. They know they've lost control. Now they want to make sure no one else wins. Maya's hands hovered over her control console. What if, she said quietly, we don't stop them with force? She glanced at Dr. Voss. What if we end them with truth? The plan. The signal pulse Earth had captured more than just Velar tech. They had cracked their culture code, the neurolinguistic virus embedded in Velar control networks. It governed how their AI obeyed, how their drones communicated, even how their military received orders. If they could insert a countercode a human-created, universal override, they could corrupt Omega Chain from within. Turn the last Velar weapon against the Velar themselves. But it would take something more than math. It would need a mind that could speak Velar and human simultaneously. Only one person on Earth could do that, Maya Rain. Inside neural deep link chamber, her body was suspended in fluid. Her mind ran at 20,000 times human speed. Hades and Maya worked in sync now. One was code, one was instinct. Together, they created the pulse, a signal that, when inserted into Velar Omega Chain protocols, would rewrite everything. Obedience? Erase war orders? Lock weapon systems? Even turn ships on each other. But it had to be delivered directly. That meant entering Omega Chain space physically. One ship, one chance. The mission, Operation End, Laugh Saul's Vengeance. Upgraded with a cloaking shell and triple air armor, prepared to jump. Maya would pilot it alone, synced fully with Hades. Kieran looked at her. This is suicide. She smiled faintly. Only if I fail. Admiral Thorne gave her a salute. Give them a reason to remember Earth. Final approach, Omega Chain Prime Node. Maya's ship slipped into the dead system unnoticed. Hundreds of warships floated silently, waiting for the final activation. Order. Maya sent the pulse. Seconds ticked. Then minutes. Then every screen in Omega Chain went black. A new voice whispered from the ship's systems. Laughter ends now. Omega Chain turned inward. Ships fired on each other. Groans. Disassembled themselves. Factories stopped producing and started melting down. Velar Command, watching from light years away, screamed in horror. They'd unleashed the end of the galaxy. But Earth had taken the knife away. On Velar Prime, High Warlord Talzair fell to his knees as every feed cut out. His last words, they didn't conquer us with weapons. They out-hot us. On Earth, Maya's ship returned, damaged, but intact. She stepped out, eyes glowing with raw code. It's done, she whispered. For the first time in known history, the Velar Empire, the unbreakable dominion, had fallen. To be concluded in Part 8, when Earth became a warning. Would you like me to continue with the final Part 8 next? 1 year after the Velar fall, the galaxy was quiet. Not peaceful, quiet. Trade ships flew more cautiously. Border skirmishes vanished overnight. Broadcast networks replayed the same footage. Over and over again. The destruction of Omega Chain. The collapse of the Velar throne world. The face of Maya Rain illuminated in red code, saying only one phrase. It's done. Aboard the neutral diplomatic station, Sierra Ike's representatives from 300 species met. A galactic summit. No one dared miss it. In the center, a circular seat remained empty, marked only with one word. Earth. They hadn't responded to the invitation. They didn't need to. The chair alone was enough to remind everyone why they were meeting. The Celiari ambassador leaned over to the Gresk general. You saw what they did to the Velar? The general nodded. We all saw. And you still want to provoke them? The Gresk fell silent, because Earth wasn't just a name anymore. It was a warning. On Earth, Citadel Command Admiral Thorne, Kieran Holt, Dr. Voss, and Maya Rain stood before the World Council. The room was dark, circular tables surrounded. By AI cores, generals, and global leaders, no celebrations, no parades, just plans. Because Earth knew better than to sit still, they had one. But they had also revealed themselves. And now, every civilization in the galaxy was watching, studying, copying, preparing. Maya, Durain's final directive. The galaxy thinks we are done, that we struck back and now we sleep. She leaned forward, her voice low but sharp. We are not done. Earth will not become an empire. We won't become conquerors. That's their way. That's how the Velar fell. We will become something else. She turned to the projection behind her. A new structure orbiting Earth. The Crucible. A massive, rotating lattice of stations. AI cores, stealth yards, and defense arrays. It's a system not designed to attack, but to ensure Earth is never caught off guard again. Message sent across the galaxy, it came without warning. To every homeworld, every outpost, every pirate haven, and trading post. We are the children of Earth. We watched the stars in silence while you laughed. You underestimated us. You invaded us. You threatened to erase us. Still we survived. We do not seek war. We do not fear it. Let Earth be your reminder. That silence does not mean weakness. 3 months later, on a fringe world, a group of slavers approached a new planet. Scans said it was primitive. Small settlements. No weapons detected. An easy harvest. They landed. They marched into the closest village. Then, a single drone hovered down in front of them. Black, sleek, with a white Earth symbol on its chest. It spoke only once. This world is under Earth's protection. The slavers didn't listen. Their ship never left orbit again. Legacy of Earth in the centuries that followed. Humans didn't become tyrants. They became myth. A world that built weapons under their cities, AI gods in their oceans and war fleets. In their shadows, a people that waited, watched, prepared, and when the moment came, they struck with such precision that the most feared empire in galactic history fell to its knees. No one laughed at Earth again, because Earth was now a symbol. Story passed from civilization to civilization. Be kind to strangers. Trade with new worlds. Respect every planet, because the quiet ones might be from Earth. Final shot. Far above Earth, the Crucible hummed in silence. Inside, a signal pulsed every 24 hours. It wasn't a warning. It wasn't a threat. It was simply a presence. A message drifting endlessly through space. We are here, we are watching, and we are ready. The end.